Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are absolutely demystifying how to build true wealth so you can finally escape the daily grind. We're breaking down Lesson 5 of Robert Kiyosaki's legendary personal finance framework, beginning to build assets. Let's dive right in. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. Now, I know it sounds like a catchy little slogan, but trust me, this is a massive, fundamental mindset shift. It completely upends that traditional advice of just, working harder for a higher salary. It really challenges us to realize that wealth isn't about how much you earn. It's actually about what you do with what you keep. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the wealth mindset, break down assets versus liabilities, explore making money work, tackle overcoming fear of failure, and then finally, build out your financial action plan. All right, Section 1, the wealth mindset. You see, true wealth depends far more on our underlying everyday beliefs than the actual size of our paychecks. Because without the right mindset, people easily fall right into the rat race. This is a seriously dangerous cycle where individuals acquire debt to buy liabilities, all while falsely believing they're building wealth. Escaping this loop, like where you might be buying a bigger home or a flashy car on credit just to look wealthy, well, that requires a total rewiring of our financial beliefs. Moving right along to Section 2, assets versus liabilities. This brings us to literally the most crucial distinction in personal finance. Before every single purchase, you've got to pass it through this realistic filter. Will this put money in my pocket or take it out? Let's just call this the pocket test. It cuts right through the noise, and reveals the true financial impact of your choices. It really boils down to this. Assets put money into your pocket by generating positive cash flow. Liabilities, on the other hand, take money out of your pocket. They drain your resources for maintenance, taxes, and debt payments. To put that into perspective, many people think their primary residence is their biggest asset, but because it constantly drains cash for upkeep, it actually behaves a whole lot like a liability. Let's anchor this with what we'll call the beach house dilemma. Buying a vacation home you only use for maybe 30 days a year sounds like the ultimate status symbol, right? But think about it. It requires a massive initial cash outflow, plus year-round maintenance, insurance, taxes, the whole shebang. Financially speaking, it's actually far smarter to just rent a beautiful hotel room for those specific days and let someone else pay to fix the roof. So a seemingly great purchase can actually be a massive, quiet liability. Okay, Section 3, making money work. Once we actually understand assets, we have to shift from just hoarding our money to actively deploying it out into the world. These are the specific investment vehicles the wealthy use to do exactly that. We're talking real estate for monthly cash flow and long-term appreciation, the stock market and investment funds to compound wealth alongside global growth, and, of course, starting a profitable business. The wealthy don't just stuff their cash under a mattress, they put it to work right here. And when you deploy those vehicles correctly, you create this incredible momentum through what's called the virtuous circle of wealth. Step 1, you generate income from those newly acquired assets. Step 2, and listen, this is where most people fail. You maintain low liabilities. You deliberately avoid increasing your lifestyle consumption just because you got a little richer. And step 3, you reinvest those profits to acquire even more assets. It is an incredibly powerful machine. Whatever you do, don't take your profits and immediately go buy a luxury car. Funnel it right back into the machine. Which brings us to Section 4, overcoming fear of failure. Look, you can have all the logical knowledge in the world about real estate and stocks, but strategy means absolutely nothing without the courage to act. Fear is the primary barrier here. So ask yourself, what if failure isn't the end, but a vital stepping stone? We are so conditioned by traditional schooling to believe that losing money or making a mistake is something to be deeply ashamed of. We really need to reframe that completely. Actually, mistakes are simply valuable data points. Successful entrepreneurs and investors build resilience by actively using their failures to learn and adapt to adversity. Adopting this growth mindset transforms errors from being a definitive roadblock into essential lessons that fortify your long-term prosperity. Think of it this way. Every single failure just buys you the data you need to make a better investment next time. Finally, Section 5, your financial action plan. We've talked a lot about the psychology and theory today, but to execute this in a real, methodical way, we have to face a sober reality. Financial intelligence has to be self-taught. Traditional schools just do not teach this stuff. You have to take full responsibility for your lifelong education. You need to read the books, attend the seminars, study market trends, and truly understand how markets work before you just start deploying your capital. So here is your entirely hype-free execution blueprint. Step 1, set specific financial goals. What exactly are you aiming for? Step 2, establish clear timelines, because let's be honest, a goal without a timeline is just a wish. And step 3, commit to continuous financial education. Having a highly structured plan like this is literally what turns abstract financial dreams into real sustainable wealth. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to remember this core philosophy. The lack of money is not a problem. It's a mindset. True financial independence isn't just reserved for some lucky few. It is entirely accessible to absolutely anyone willing to learn, shift their mindset, and take disciplined action. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Take a hard look at your next paycheck. When that money clears into your account, will you go out and buy a liability, or will you start building an asset? The choice is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you're leaving with the focus and clarity to finally make your money work for you.